So here I am, 2 years ago, driving my car. At that point I even didn't realize I will need full engine rebuild. Bluish white smoke, we all know what that means. Before engine comes out, I need to unbolt all things in the way. Finally, engine is out. It took me 2 days in slow pace. Here you can see valves from exhaust ports. As we can see, one is oily and wet, so we have a problem with valve seals or valve guides. Original turbos have seen better days. Cold side is completely shut. Head cover gasket was leaking all over the place. It was dripping on the hot exhaust and smoking. So both heads must come off. Here I was checking how much of free play pistons have at top dead center. I guess it's not so important at this point, as all engine will come apart. Here you can see complete chaos and carnage, what is left of my S4 engine. Finally, engine is out and on the stand for better inspection. Interesting thing, passenger side 1, 2, markings of 3. On the driver's side there is 4, for some reason 6. And the last one is just 2.7. Let's take apart the bottom half of the engine. Here you can see the oil pump. And let's continue with the assembly. So, quick inspection of the rods. Everything looks fine. Here I just took off all the rods when trying to spin the crankshaft. Let's check the crankshaft bearings. So the first one is a little worn, the second one is okay, the third is also okay, and the last one is also in pretty good shape. Overall, not so bad. Okay, the engine is completely torn apart, basically ready for the honing. After that, machine shop will restore the surface where the head meets the cylinder block. Here's all the parts in the boxes: pistons, crankshaft, various bits of the engine, clutch, intake, intercoolers, intake box, headlights, radiator, and some small bits and pieces. In next video I will start to build the engine back to its former glory. Welcome back. After the first video, I received very interesting comments from the community. As you can see, I didn't choose simple, so I'm going the difficult route. Finally, engine block is back from the workshop. It has been honed and we shaved a 0.1 mm material from where the heads meet the block. After that, we degreased the engine block for the painting. I oiled up some of the surfaces to prevent it from the rusting. Engine is ready to receive the main bearings and the crankshaft. Here you can see it before the cleaning, and here you can see it after the ultrasound cleaning. Main bearings is in, crankshaft is in, and now I will just try to freely spin the crankshaft to see if there is no obstacles. Main bearing caps is on, so next task is to torque them down. Crankshaft is in, so one more time I just freely spin it. Pistons before the cleaning. After the cleaning. We can see that the pistons are in good shape and I will definitely reuse them. And this is my new H-beam rods. I pre-assembled the pistons, rods and rings, and they look very nice and ready to go to the block. Two of them already connected to the crankshaft, and again the spin test. Here you can see from the bottom how the rod is connected to the crankshaft, and again, one more time, spin test. So we are satisfied with the results and now we can move on. Here's my cleaned up oil pump assembly and the bottom half of the engine. So the oil pump is in place, connected to the crankshaft, and also there goes the bottom half of the engine, so one more thing left to do is to torque down the screws. Everything is coming together nicely. You can see the bottom half is on, oil pump is in, block is painted, so everything looks good, we can move forward. I had two defects in my oil pan, so I took the opportunity and fixed them. Here you can see already sealed and torqued down the bottom half of the engine, and also I put in the oil sensor. After that I just wrapped up the engine in the plastic. Next big job is to install the refreshed heads, so this is how they looked before and this is how they look now. For heads I'm using brand new bolts, and also I am following the pattern from the manual for torquing them down. As you can imagine, this is quite scary task. All the noises what bolts makes. When all bolts are torqued down, I need to apply additional 90-degree turn to finish them up. It definitely wasn't an easy job, it took a lot of effort from my side to torque those bolts down. Here you can see all dirty internals from the heads. In next video all this will be cleaned up, refurbished, and it will go right there. Welcome back to my smoking Audi engine rebuild. This is my third video and hopefully the final. As you can see in this recap, in last video we finished with installing the heads and torquing them down, and in this video we will continue to build the engine up. So let's get started. Here you can see parts side by side, before and after the ultrasound cleaning. I think the final result is pretty good. So let's move to the next step, heads. I bought new hydraulic lifters. Before installing them, I soaked and filled them with oil. I think it will help at the first start after the engine rebuild. Next thing, install them, then I start rebuilding the heads. Here you can see the both heads ready to receive the lifters. In slow pace, lifters has been installed. Then comes the camshafts and all the bits and pieces for the chains. So one more good look to the cleaned parts. And with the magic of editing, all the parts are installed, greased up and ready to go. By the way, timing chains is also brand new. I'm not reusing the old ones. Next step is to install the locking bar. After that, I will be able to install the belt. And just like that, you install the belt. After belt is installed, we rotate the engine for 360 degrees to the top dead center, and we again put on the locking bar to make sure everything lines up. So, before we close up the engine, we must check the timing. It looks like all marks are in the place, so there should not be any problems. Everything looks good, so let's move forward. I collected all the dirty parts in this plastic box. I will be using this power washer to clean them up. And here is the final result. Dirty parts and clean parts. Ready to go back to the engine. All the parts and plastic pieces are back on the engine. So next up is turbochargers. These are the old ones with all the bits and pieces, and they will be going to a company named Turbo Systems for full rebuild. So finally turbos are back, fully rebuilt with new wastegates. Also I went for the hybrid turbos, so that means bigger colder impeller and also bigger hot side impeller. Hopefully with a nice tune those turbos will be making the same boost with less effort. Here they are on my workbench, and I already managed to attach some cooling and oiling lines. Next step is to prepare all the necessary gaskets, and then turbos can go to the engine. So turbos are on the engine. It was quite a battle to get them there, but they are now proudly sitting on fully rebuilt engine. My next task is to build the intake manifold with all the injectors and fuel rail. By the way, this is my spare parts engine. This is my dirty intake manifold. Before I install, I will clean it, and also I will use new gaskets and new seals for the injectors. Intake manifold installed, so next up, fuel injectors and fuel rail. Soon in this empty space there will be newly rebuilt engine. This is flywheel, freshly rebuilt, and it will go nicely together with my new such clutch plate. After all this work, we are getting closer and closer to the engine install. This is last inspection engine on the hoist, so let's start with engine install. Finally, engine is in, so next up, the wiring. Finishing up is the fuel injectors and fuel rail. When all that is installed, next is the ECU. So ECU is in my hands and will go there. Next step, intercoolers, dirty, Cleaned, installed. Front of the engine looking good, ready to receive the radiator pack. Let's add some oil into the engine, charge the battery, and go for the first start. Let's bring her home now. So this overall process was painful, long, hard, and very many lessons learned. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.